So many shows this year lighting the torch in the game and atmosphere to let everybody know at the end of the day, Microsoft will be. They're going to make sure that they hold down the traditions of E3. So June 9th, they're going to tune in, see me. So I'll be there too. I think this year is going to be something special, something different, something amazing, something incredible. Because the indie show showed us a lot of things on the forefront in the background, something that's tangible, something that's happening now. When Microsoft said, we won't rest, we will put out the word to let you know in June it's going to be crazy. And then right after that, the next day, Bethesda comes out with some incredible news. So you know these port begging ponies is trying to co-op our situation. Oh, we got to get into these topics. 5, 4, 3, 2, let's go.
We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. So it's time to crush.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And today, I am so over the moon with all the stuff that is happening. Microsoft is controlling the week. The week has been a great week so far. I mean, it's a great week for us, but it's not a great week for Square. Square this week, if y'all didn't know, had reported, I had to report to the shareholders a loss of 22.1 billion yen. Now, that translates to $146 million. And they said something about content losses, right? So structurally wise, they're going to change exactly how they motivate. They're going to do things a whole lot different. Square understands that they've messed up. There are different people that's in charge right now. And structurally, they have to change the way that they're doing things going forward. They must move in a different direction. They must change their forecast. Square was the mighty RPG, Japanese RPG company, where they allowed the user, the consumer, to fall in love with this fantasy worlds that they created. Not saying that ain't the same anymore. I'm just saying like the old strategies that they used to do is no longer viable in our society today. And they have to learn, adapt, change, and grow. So I believe that they are learning, they're adapting, they're changing, and they're going to grow. They're going to realize that tying themselves to one console isn't economically feasible in this our climate, especially when economically the yen is different and stuff like that. Things are happening. We don't want to go into a whole bunch of stuff, but things are different and things are happening over there. So at the end of the day, Square has to change their strategy. Their strategy has to be exactly on every screen, every place that it could possibly be. And, I saw today, a lot of dudes want to talk about, hey, man, maybe they weren't going to get their return off investment if they chose to put the game on Xbox. That is a farce, and that's I don't want to get into the reasons why, because we all know the reasons why. If you're new to this channel, like, follow, and subscribe to follow the reasons why. They were under a different regime, and that regime had ties to Sony. Beautiful stuff. Played a lot of their games there. This is a different age and this is a different time. If you want Square to still be around and don't get rid of games, they have to change. So I'm pretty sure that the shareholders are in concert with me on this matter. If you want Square to survive, they have to diversify and be everywhere. Now this next topic, boy, I told you I think Microsoft is playing a game of what is it? I wish you would with the Sony fan base. You know, they say I wish you would, and Microsoft crosses the line on them, right? You know, for a while, people didn't understand what Starfield was. They wanted Starfield to come out a perfect project from the beginning. They forget Elder Scrolls, they forget Oblivion, they forget Fallout, they forget these games, they forget the way these games started to the where they were at, patches, update stuff, you know, things. Now we are in a different age. Starfield, I believe, is his seminal project, God Howard, and his project is how he's looking at it. He's crafting his project in a manner of what he expects it to be. He puts it out in the world to get the feedback of the game. And he has a ton of it because you have to put it in a wild in order to see the traction that the game does get. So we're going to have a May update, and this is before the Shattered Space DLC, right? This is a free update that's coming out. It said it's going to improve surface maps. The inventory navigation tabs is going to be fixed. It's going to be better. New gameplay options in the setting menus. I mean, to play extreme mode for individuals that you want to do that. You know, ship decoration modes for the interior of the ships. That is a huge thing within itself. A lot of ships, you already got it prefabbed. You was like, man, I didn't like that. I want to put a chair there. It's going into where they wanted it to go to. Customizing it, making it your own. What is it? You can change your traits and your appearances after, entering the Unity. That after you finish the game, now it could be you, new year, new me. You understand? Like you could actually do these things. These things is actually possible. Dialogue, camera toggle in the settings, so you can keep it on a cinematic view and it doesn't have to bring it closer. It doesn't have to break the immersion. Some people like that. That's some things that people want in their games. Display settings for the Xbox Series X to prioritize visuals and performance. Listen, you have your choice now, right? Remember, this is back to they're actively playing a game of I wish you would. They were just teasing Starfield for being 30 frames per second. And I guess somebody must have heard me. Series X is going to be 60 frames per second. And if you have a VRR television and all this other stuff, where I believe the majority of Series X owners will have this thing, will have that situation done, I believe that is going to be utilized by us. Now you get to play your games 60 frames per second, 40 frames per second, 30 frames per second. I told you, how do you want it is there. Bethesda stepped up to the plate and they knocked the ball out the park. Yet again, you have to realize you're talking to $1 trillion company and they're going to call your bluff each and every turn. So for all my space flyers, all my space cowboys, have fun with this patch that's coming out in May. And for Steam guys, that patch is out today. That is an incredible thing. Go try it out in beta and on Steam. I might boot up my Steam Deck and do that too. What's up? Because we're able to do those things. Shout out to Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name. This is turning into a bloody mess, bro. You guys are being mopped up all over the place. All right, this next topic is brought to you by Xputer. They look at the industry and they get a lot of information, man. They know a lot of stuff that's going on with Sony. and it's kind of crazy how they figure out what's going on. Well, Sony want to put a slow mode into their games, right? And that's that's the joint that's in Ratchet and Clank, but this is for accessibility reasons only, right? To help people slow down the games so they're able to get those platinums, right? This is, I'm telling you, they're devaluing you dudes that try to act like y'all hardcore and you've done all this hardcore stuff over at your PlayStation. And then Sony patents the haptic feedback to work with your voice. Okay, that's a cool thing, but this next thing is kind of strange and alarming to me, because Sony patents to prevent you from in-game harassment, by predicting your emotions, by reading your emotions. They're going to use an AI chip to read your emotions and to see your intent and how you interact with other people. I think this is troublesome within itself. The thought process into figuring out, I'm going to file a patent to have predictive nature to see if I can penalize somebody without having another person report it, but with just having them just do the reporting themselves and just banning you because they read the emotions in the room. You want an emotionless chip to read human emotions to then determine if you were intentionally going after the individual. And it's going to work with your controller, it's going to work with your headset. These things that they're setting up for you is troublesome, and that Sony wanting total control over the user, mind, body, and soul. They're trying to control you. And Sony could automatically play games for you. This is where the devaluing of your platinums continues. They're trying to take away your hardcoreness. They understand that this is a casual machine. They want to keep it casual. They want to cater to the casual fan base. They want to cater to the casual individuals. They want to make sure that the casuals feel included in the conversation. They do not want the casuals to feel excluded, because they understand the casuals is what's pushing this box. The hardcore is not pushing it, because the hardcores don't buy games. They're talking about these casuals, baby. They're trying to get these casual dollars. You hardcore dudes are no longer valuable, and your platinums, just pack them up and take them away. They're no longer necessary and needed here. These things are brought to you by your wonderful friends over at Sony. And I feel that you guys are living the dream. And I am so happy that y'all get a chance to be exactly who y'all think y'all are. Nobody to Sony. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we do it over here. We're going to keep the boot on Kong neck this whole generation. But backing that up, bringing it to, oh my God, this one made me sick to my stomach. Former Blizzard president Mikey Barra feels that you should be able to tip the developer after playing a game. You're supposed to say to yourself, man, that game was so good, I'm going to give them an extra $10. All right, this is not a restaurant. See, this is a situation where you played the game, it was dope, and you go out and word of mouth sells the game. The game was good, you share it out. Content creators, we bring it out. We'll talk about it. Your game is good, it will get the accolades. You get awards for that. You get recognition for that. Your Metacritic score goes up for that. You're tied to bonuses. So out of all that extra money, you expect us to continue to go inside our pockets to fund your situation. This is the reason. These are the fundamental reasons why certain people are no longer in charge. They are not there. Because this right now, this thought process destroys the fabric of what we hold true. We can't have individuals feeling that this is the way for us. Those individuals cannot be in power, because those decision making, that is a terrible decision for all video game players, right? And don't tell me it's an option, because there's going to be a time where it's not an option. It's going to become mandatory. They try to slip little things in here and there. But this is the part in the video where I'm going to tell you to like, follow, and subscribe. And I'm going to take that logo and I'm going to throw it around Starfield, because Starfield, y'all doing your thing. And I'm going to tell y'all, try to play the Game Pass.